A pee so fast. Oh
It's
no.
recording, motherfucker. Go pee if you got to. I'm gonna
I
sit here
can't
and
even
just
fucking roll my tongue right now.
dude,
Daydream.
I'm so in the zone. I'm dry as a fucking desert. And I
I'm
was about to say
drunk.
Sahara. I was about to say Sahara Desert, but I don't know what you call it. Like, there's a term for what I'm about to explain. But Sahara, in the African language that it comes from, means desert, and desert in English is desert. So
So
it's
the
calling it the
desert,
Sahara
desert.
Desert, desert.
Hell yeah.
And there's a place in England, man. I wish I remembered the name of it.
I got a pee so
Well, it's
bad.
called something 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 hill, but every word before it is hill. So it was like the old Irish way of saying hill, then like the
Uh,
Welsh way of saying hill, then like Middle English way of saying hill, and then they added a hill. So it's like when you say that name of that place, it's like hill, 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 hill.
gotcha.
Yeah, there's a
You,
term for it.
you know what I want to do,
Go
but
pee.
no, yes, but it has to do with that. I wish I would have. I wish I would have timestamped every time that I've went and peed on this podcast. Because I'm either leaving or I'm peeing right here in the bottle. And it's been at least, I know, 5 or 6 times. And it would just be funny to have it. Hey, I'm gonna go pee real quick. Your reaction. Hey, I'm gonna pee by mute my microphone. Your reaction.
I know I've called you pregnant 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, well,
Shout out
I'm
to
gonna
all the pregnant women out there. Carrying a baby is a motherfucker,
I'm
I'm
gonna
sure.
go pee.
Thank you for it. Oh, he's leaving this time. Cool. I was about to ask him if he was going to pee into a bottle and drink it. And I know that sounds nasty, but go read the Vedas. They used to do it for spiritual purity. Yep, so just sitting here chilling, hanging out in the zone. Played my bass tonight. Had a buddy come over. Shout out to Brandon Simmons if you're checking this out. It was fun hanging out with you. I look forward to making music with you, bro. But yeah, first time I've jammed in 10 years was this summer. 2 or 3 times with Russell B. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you. So shout out to you if you're checking this out. But first time I had jammed with anybody in about 10 years. And man, it just feels good to pick up my instrument and play with someone else. Because I am wanting to do some solo stuff here in the near future. But playing bass feels the fullest when there's another person. And maybe that's just music in general. But I think you can kind of sit around and play like acoustic or electric guitar and kind of do a singer-songwriter stuff and it just be you. But most times when I play bass, playing with a guitar player or a drummer is always the most fun. So I'm excited to start doing that again. But other than that, man, I'm just excited about life. Happy to still be doing this podcast with Nate. Not so much looking forward to cold weather, but kind of getting more into the vibe of cozy. Growing up, I did not understand cozy. I didn't understand why people would intentionally make it cold in their residence so that they could wrap themselves in blankets. I'm like,
I'm cold right now, and it is not cozy. It is.
but have
cold.
you ever, like, we were just talking with a kitty, and she asked, so you'll probably interview a lot of white people. And I got cozy from white people. Like, growing up, if I wanted 72 in the house, it was just fucking 72 in the house. I didn't make it 68 so I could put it on a hoodie and blankets and make it feel 72 in my body. Like, I didn't understand the point of a comforter on my bed for years. I'm like, why have this extra big blanket on you that weighs you down? Just fucking make it the right temperature when you want to sleep and you will sleep. Why make it cooler for the fucking blanket? I didn't get it.
No,
Blew my
I'll
mind.
say this. I'll say this. I don't care unless I'm sweating and it's uncomfortably hot. I have to have a cover on me. I have to, even if it's hot and the cover is making it uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. You know how people say safety blanket because a kid needs their blanket and that's their safety blanket. That's what they go to when things aren't going right in their lives. It's like my safety blanket. It's hot. It's freezing. I'm under the covers. And you know what else? My
What else?
hand, my hand is in my pants or shorts or boxers or whatever I'm wearing. I don't know why, but I gotta sleep with my hand on my dick. And I wake up with it there, and that's what it is. But those are my two safety blankets.
Dude, I've told people, I'm like, Nate's about to wake up. They're like, how you know? Like, he got an alarm set? I'm like, no, he just took his hand out of his pants.
And you know something else?
Because if your hand is on your dick, bro, you're sleeping.
And I didn't realize this, but
What you didn't realize?
when I first wake up, my foot's tapping, and normally it's tapping to a beat, and I don't mean like a certain beat,
Yeah, just
but it's like a
rhythmic.
metronome. And Jade's the first one that pointed that out, and then like she started pointing it out more, and like so like I would wake up and my foot would be tapping, I wouldn't know it, and she would be like, "Hey, you're awake, aren't you?" I'm like, "I just woke up." She's like, "Yeah, you're tapping your foot," and then I would stop it and be like, "Do I just fucking wake up with music in my head?"
Yeah,
Because I,
that's
I
dope.
I noticed that there would be something playing in my head, rather it was Poker Face, rather it was an Eminem song, whatever it was. I'm like, I was in my head and I was tapping my foot to the beat of it. And she pointed it out. And I've noticed that ever since. And like when I'm going to sleep, it doesn't happen every time, but I'll fucking tap my foot like real fast. And I don't know. I guess that's my safety blanket too.
Man, I'm still getting used to Eminem looking like an adult.
Bro, he's been looking like an adult for the past 5 years since he grew that beard.
That's what I'm saying. I'm still getting used to the first time I saw it. First time I saw it, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Where's his, I wouldn't say childish, but adolescent look? Like, he looked like a young adult for a long time. Even after he changed his fashion, I'm not just talking about like he never grew up, but he just had a young adult look to him for a long time. But he grew his beard out and started wearing like trucker hats. I'm like, different guy.
Yeah, you can't even see that indentation. What's that thing called? The the butt chin. That's what it is.
Yeah,
That's so
butt chin being
rude.
a scientific word,
No,
medical
that's
term.
rude. But yeah, you can't see his butt chin anymore. My hat keeps falling off. Um, I'm you've been a nigga in Paris, haven't you? You went to Paris, didn't you?
Oh, we didn't make it. COVID happened.
Oh, I thought you went on your honeymoon. That was Italy.
Italy, yeah.
Why do I
Par-
always get those two fucked up? Damn it. I was about to say, bro, you been a nigga in Paris.
nope, been nigga in Rome. Nigga. What? I been nigga. Dude, I'm so in the zone. My tongue's not working. I tell
Bro,
you
you're high, man. Just say it.
high
Delta
as a
8. He
high
went
as
and
a
bought it
motherfucker.
legally.
In the
Fucking
zone, bro. You know I
in
like
this.
speaking in code, man. I get fucking paranoid when I'm high.
I do too, man. I like speaking in code is good because it depends on who you're around. But this is going on the internet. Your job doesn't know about it, and that's the only people to care about. It's legal. It's this was bought at a store. They had to see my ID, but they
Isn't
don't
that
have to see
crazy?
my
Isn't that crazy?
dude.
I remember the first time. Oh, so the first time I dosed myself, I wasn't trying to get high. We were looking for something a little bit stronger than CBD for like as a sleep aid. That's what we were looking for. Went to a vape store. Told the person behind the counter that. Yeah, man, it's fucking day drink. Put the Apple Jacks up.
Yeah, it was up
Um,
for like the first 15 minutes of Kitty. I was like, what the fuck is this doing?
wrong segment. Let me change the background.
It's because we had day drink for like 4 minutes. All right, keep
But
going. You were at the vape store
yeah,
and
the
you
vape
talked to the
store.
lady.
Tell the lady behind the counter, this is what we're looking for. Stronger in CBD. Need help sleeping. She goes, I got something for you. And she didn't even call it Delta 8 at the time. She called it THCA. I think which stands for acid or acetate. And she says, you will feel high, but you won't be high. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And I just kind of chewed on that for a little bit. I was like, okay, that's weird. Come home, try it, and forget I had taken this gummy. Didn't even cross my mind. I go and start doing some yoga, and about 45 minutes into it, I'm in shavasana, just sitting there kind of chilling, and my cheeks
To
start.
the people that don't know anything about yoga, because I know a little bit about it, and I don't even know what you just said. So do you just
Oh,
mind riffing on shavasana a little bit?
oh yeah, sorry. Corpse pose. It's the final resting pose. You're laying flat on your back, just limp.
Oh, okay. Yep, I've
Yeah,
I've done that. Okay, so you're
you
in
might meditate,
shavasana,
you might not, but you're just relaxing.
and you say your cheeks start tingling.
Yeah, and I've had some interesting like physical responses to yoga, um, but nothing like that. Like it's been more like a spinal and like in my core, but not my face. And I was like, that's an interesting feeling. Never felt that one before. Then that feeling starts to travel down the front center of my body, down my chest and into my abdomen. I was like, this is really weird. And then it turns into a full body tingling, and I start feeling like marijuana type paranoia. I was like, they got me motherfucking high. And dude, I tell you what, it felt like half hour, but it's probably like 10 minutes of just freaking out. I was like, I'm 5 hours from Nate. He's the only one that's ever seen me in this state. He's the only one that knows how to get me out of it or comfort me through it. And I don't know how long this shit's gonna last because I thought this was CBD's cousin.
But look, then you had a friend over there, and you went in the living room, and you said to your friend, you were like, "Hey, how are you feeling?" I feel kind of weird, whatever they said, and then you were like, "We're high as fuck."
Fuck. And dude, me and my buddy just started laughing our asses off. I was like, oh my
Oh,
god.
that's
And
fucking hilarious.
they were like, guess I'm staying night. I can't drive like this.
That's
I gotta go
hilarious.
to work in the morning. How's this gonna work? I'm like, I don't know.
And then, bro, look. So you had ate a couple gummies by then, and you had told me about it. And it's probably a month or 2 months until I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go get some edibles. I actually saw them at my vape store. I'm gonna get some. So I got some, and I ate one, only one, 25 milligrams. And I was like,
And
fuck,
y'all, he told me he was gonna eat two, and I was begging him. I was even calling people that knew him, and I was like, I'm worried about him. He doesn't know what he's getting into.
and I had no intentions to eat two. I was completely fucking around, but I was like, I'm gonna fuck with Bobby for a second. But you were really concerned, and I kept it going for a little bit. And I was like, bruh, I'm just gonna eat one. And you were like, oh my god, thank you. So I ate one, and I think I'm good. So it was about 20 minutes into it. And you were like, wait, about 45 minutes to an hour. About 20 minutes into it, I was like, I kind of feel something. Let me go to the gas station and get some beer now. And by the time I got to the gas station, I was fucking baked. And the gas station is 2 minutes down the street. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking paranoid. I don't want to be in public right now. So I buy the beer, come back, and I call you and you say, how are you feeling? And I said, bruh, I know it's legal, but this is
But
weed,
how?
man. I was like, I know it's legal, but I also know this feeling, and I was not expecting this.
And for me, it's more profound than weed because I got the paranoia really bad. Anytime I smoke green, if I had like a Delta 9, I guess we call it Delta 9 now because we have different designations. But prior to this, if I smoked a THC pen, I could get high and have a good time and laugh and not even really get a body high. It's just all head and it felt good. But when I smoked green, man, just the thoughts that would come in my head, I was so paranoid. I felt paralyzed. I was very anxious. I couldn't sleep. But this, I get all the body feels, head feels, minus the paranoia. So it's like a real good experience.
And that's so weird. Just because, I mean, Delta 8, Delta 9, I noticed the difference, but really it's the same. That's why I just stick with Delta 8 because it's legal. You know, that's why I don't fuck with Delta 9. If I lived in a state where it was legal, then I'd fuck with the actual real flour. But it feels this. I noticed a difference, but it's crazy how it's so similar, but psychologically it doesn't do the same for you. Like one makes you into like a schizophrenic person, and the other relaxes you and makes you into a calm person.
And this blanket right here is cozy as fuck. I like the frills on it.
I don't like the ones with the the pom pom things on it, the fillets or whatever.
Talking about these?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what you call them.
that's. I mean, they look good.
Fringe, maybe?
Yeah, they look good on that blanket, but I've never like wrapping up with those.
Mm.
Maybe I had a bad memory one time. I don't know. You know, a memory that I okay. So every time I cut my fingernails, I every time before I clip it, I close my eyes. And the reason I do that is because I was clipping my fingernails. I was a teenager, maybe younger, and it went in my eye. And dude, when I say that burned so fucking bad for 5 minutes, I was dying. But I thought I had gotten it out because it stopped burning. Hang out with Rashad all day, end up spending the night at his house, and I'm on his top bunk, and my eye just lights on fucking fire, and it starts watering. And when it started watering, I like wiped the bottom of it. Fucking had a fingernail on my finger, and I was like, my fingernail's been in my eye for this, I guess, like 8 or 9 hours. So
Wow.
now every time I clip my fingernails, I close my eyes right before I clip.
Yeah, I can see why.
Bruh, it was a painful
Man.
experience when it happened, and then it calmed down, and then it was a painful experience of it ejecting from my fucking eye.
Man. That's fucking nuts, bro.
But it didn't bother me all day. We were playing basketball, playing video games. Didn't bother me all day. Watch 106 in Park probably. I remember Rashad and I, we would watch 106 in Park, and they'd have Freestyle Fridays, and they had the rules for it. So we would come up with the same rules. It was like, you have 5 minutes to write your rap, but you have to spit for at least a minute. And we would battle each other and shit.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you said you saw him at a skate park recently, correct?
Yeah. Oh, another good thing. Good news. So I saw him at that skate park very randomly. Like Ashley and I went bowling, and then she was like, "You want to go to the skate park?" And I was like, "Yeah, I ain't been yet." And the one in Gainesville, sure enough, he was there. But that's the same one or the same day I fell and hurt my wrist real bad, bruh. I noticed I was playing table tennis probably about 3, 4 weeks ago, and I was like, wait a minute, this used to hurt. It doesn't hurt. And I start like moving my wrist. I was like, oh shit, my wrist doesn't hurt anymore. But like it hurt to do that. But now I can do that perfectly fine. Because the way you're supposed to hold your paddle is you're supposed to hold at an angle like that. So you're fucking everything's pretty much straight. And that's an awkward angle because you ain't used to doing that. You're used to fucking doing this and shit.
Mm.
But it was even more awkward because it fucking hurt because my wrist was fucked up. But for some reason, it fixed itself.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's that repetitive motion of using the paddle that helped it heal.
That's what I'm wondering because I was trying to rehab it on my own and I did it for like 2 weeks and I was like, it's not working. Um, but I researched and a lot of the websites said the same thing, like don't overuse it because what it is, it's either a sprained wrist or a fractured bone. And I thought mine was fractured from what everything I read, but basically it was like don't overuse it, but use it. So what I got from it is don't go in and try to bench 150, but benching the bar is okay. And I feel like that's kind of what I did. Was I used it for table tennis and it was hurting like I even told my coach, I was like, hey, I know you want me to hold it like this. And I was like, I'm trying, but my wrist, like if I bend it too much, it hurts. And I told him, about my skateboarding accident. He was like, yeah, that makes sense. It shouldn't hurt too much. You should just be able to relax it. Maybe you're trying too hard. And maybe I was. Maybe I was being tight with it, but it was so tight already that I was like, this hurts, man. It does not feel good.
Yeah, my wrists are still fucked up. I feel tension in it, so I think it's ready to pop. So I'm gonna hold it up to a mic and see if you can hear it. No, it's
Yep.
not ready. It's not. No, that's my fingers. It's not ready for
Oh,
it.
gotcha. But you can pop it or you have to pop it every now and then. Like if you don't
Oh,
pop it, it'd bug the shit out of you, won't it?
oh, I mean, I pop it 15, 20 times a day.
Bro, that shit's so annoying. I pop so many things. All right,
Dude,
tell me everything that you pop. I know
both
I saw
both
you pop your
wrists,
neck during the kitty interview.
and that's actually getting better. I think that's all from postural issues from going from a stand-up mostly job to a sit-down almost in the completely job. I just wasn't used to it. I don't sit that often, so I don't have great posture, and I don't practice it. And just sitting in a shitty posture for it was right at a year and a half is when I really felt the pain. No, a year and 3 months, almost to the day. Yeah, a year and 3 months, almost to the day. And man, it feels much better now. I'm like, what? From that first day, a year and 3 months past it, actually. And between chiropractic care for 11 months, some home exercises intermittently. I wasn't super dedicated to them. And having a stand-up desk at my job, I feel so much better. But yeah, I still crack my neck a lot.
All right, so name everything.
Um,
Neck,
neck,
back,
right wrist,
pussy, and your crack.
my neck, my
My
back,
back,
my
lick
pussy,
my
and my
pussy
crack.
and my crack. All right, so neck.
Oh man, but my neck, my right clavicle, it'll pop
Your
somewhere right here.
clavicle.
Yeah, it pops. There's a little joint there.
The fuck?
Both wrists, all 8 fingers. The right hand more than the left. I like popping my left toes and my right ankle. And I don't like popping my hips, but when they do, they feel so good. But it's a little bit more of a pain than pleasure versus just straight tension relief. So I don't like the process of it. But when they pop, it's like, oh my God.
All right, you got me beat because I got my neck. Um, sometimes my back, but I ain't even gonna count that because that's like I've been sitting down for a long time. So I've done this a couple of times, but most times I avoid that. Like I'm gonna sit down or I'm gonna stand up and not do it too long. So I'm gonna go up my neck. Um, two of my fingers on both sides. So the index and the middle finger and my thumbs, my right knee and my left ankle. So my main ones are neck, two knuckles, thumbs, right knee, left ankle. And then the other ones are sporadic. Never my left knee, sometimes my right ankle. Excuse me, right ankle. But yeah, you got me beat. I don't.
Yeah.
There is no way I could do these two fingers, my pinky and the one next to it, bro. If I try to pop those and they do pop, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I do it like this. I take it and I just roll it. Yeah.
Oh no, I do straight on. Look, I
See
just
that
got
that
one.
hurts. I don't like that one. That one's very painful to me.
Humans are fucking weird.
Right?
Like, why are we so weird? Like, some people don't pop. I bet most people pop shit, but yours are weird to me, and the ones I do hurt you. And like, you do your neck like that, And me, I don't use any hands, but I used to do it like that. And Big hated it.
Oh man, one time he's like, dude, he's like, you see how I am, right?
Exactly.
He's like, you're gonna paralyze yourself.
And it makes sense the reason he would freak out about that, because I was thinking about it honestly, like probably last week. I was thinking, oh yeah, it was last week, because I saw someone do it with both hands and it made me cringe. And I was like, damn, Big used to say that to us. And as a kid, it's like, okay, but he says it enough, and you're like, it could he met someone at the VA, and they were in the same situation he was, paralyzed from waist down. And the way it happened to them is two of their friends want to play a trick at bingo and take the back legs of the chair off. And if Big hears this story, he knows what he goes through. He doesn't want to see anyone he knows, loves, or likes goes through it, especially his sons. I mean, he sees us fucking doing this. I would try to put an end to that shit too.
Right?
Like, hell no. Like, it can happen anyway. And I see you doing it, and it's making me fucking tense up. So it makes perfect sense. But as a kid, I was like, man, he's tripping.
Dude, one of my favorite big-isms for myself is growing up, he always said, if you get lost, always head south. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Why not?
Yeah, I don't ever remember that. I missed that one. I'm
He
sure
said
he
that
told us.
Said it all the fucking time. Out in the woods hiking with Ryan, and it's very easy in like a large national forest where it's not like a day hike trail and it's heavily worn down, and you have blazes everywhere to guide the crowds through. It's not like that. Like, you might have a blaze every so often, if at all.
Right.
And depending on how used the trail is, you can easily get off the path because it might not be well beaten. There might be a tree that's down that you have to go around, and then you get back and you're like, where the fuck's the trail? Okay, it looks like it's this way. You get to a dead end and you're like, obviously not, because I was on a trail and now there's only woods in front of me. And something like that had happened. It wasn't like a very bad losing the trail. But I was like, hey,
dramatic.
Wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a Michael Bay film. I was like, how about we just start walking this way? This is south. Eventually, like, we'll get to where we need to be. And we did. And it, like, worked out. And we didn't really discuss it on the trail, but we're on our way home. And he's like, so why did you decide to go south? He's like, because for anybody that knows me, I'm fucking terrible with directions. I have a horrible sense of direction.
And to Google or Siri, if you're listening, stop telling us to head northwest. Tell us to turn left or right, please. Keep going.
I got to give you a directional question here in a second. But anyways, I was like, my dad just always said that if you're lost, always head south. He's like, well, next time you talk to your dad, thank him for that information because it helped us out. I was like, for sure. Call Big, and I'm like, hey, man. I was like, some advice that you've given me my entire life that I thought I would never use, I actually got to use. And he asked me what it was. I told him the situation. He goes, I don't remember saying that.
I
but
knew
if
that was
you remember it, that's great, and I'm glad it helped you out. And if I said it, I was probably just fucking around. I was like,
but you know,
it motherfucking worked.
That's like the vice versa of what we talked about off camera a couple months ago of parents doing traumatic things, and maybe it was traumatic to you at the time and it stuck with you for the rest of your life. But if you go back to your dad or your mom and you're like, hey, you remember that day that you beat my ass because I wanted to try this at the dinner table, but you told me what to order and I didn't order it? No, I don't remember that at all. Oh, well, fuck with me. It still fucks with me fucking 27 years later. That's like the opposite of it. It's like, hey, you remember that amazing advice that you gave me that I thought I would never use? I finally used it. And he's like, I don't know the fuck you're talking about, but hell yeah. Oh, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's the vice versa of that. Um, damn, I don't remember what I was gonna say or ask.
I was gonna say something else because you said something. I'm gonna hold on to that. But my brain just went to my second favorite big-ism that I
Ism.
didn't experience. Big-ism that Devin experienced is awesome. What's even better is knowing Devin, you're gonna be like, I can totally see this, because he didn't just tell me the story. Like there was this exchange that went back and forth, and I was on a hike after we moved here to Charleston, so I had gone to Georgia and I was on my way back. And weeks before, I had told him I was going. And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. We're actually on your way back. We're in the Greenville area. Would you like to stop by and go shooting with me?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "If we get out of the woods in time on Saturday, I'm gonna be leaving Saturday morning. But most likely, what's gonna happen is it's gonna be an all-day Saturday trip, and we're gonna leave on Sunday." I was like, "If I come through on Sunday, would you like to go shooting?" He goes, "No, I can't." I said, "Do you have something else to do?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Are the shooting ranges closed on Sundays?" He's like, "No." And it was silence. "Well, why can't you go?" "Big told me not to ever shoot on Sundays." I'm like, "Bro, so as much as you like guns and as many guns as you have, you've never shot on a Sunday?" He goes, "No." I said, "Why not?"
Bruh.
He goes, "Because Big said never shoot on Sundays." I
Big will
said,
tell you not
"Why?"
to.
He said, "I don't know. I didn't question it, man. If Big felt it was important enough to say it, it's important enough to do it."
Big
I
will
was
tell
like,
you not to
"Amen."
do anything on Sundays. I've not worked on a car that needed to be fixed that Monday on the Sunday because Big's like, now I've honestly
You
I've
got to
done work
call out of work
I've done
because it
work
was a
with
Sunday.
I've done work with Big on Sundays, but I promise you what you're gonna hear is, yeah, I don't normally like to do this, but it's got to be done. Someone's got to do it.
Oh, I got to stop laughing so loud. I'm going to wake Wendy up. That's hilarious, though.
That's the truth, man. Like that's
That's so
as
funny.
soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah, I've never heard of no shooting on Sundays, but if it has anything to do with work, Big, he's serious about that. Hey, God built the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. We're resting too. And I always like that because sometimes it would be a hard ass day of work on the car, something that should have taken an hour, and we're still stumped, and the night's come and it's cold, and it's like, man, I hope Big ain't in the mood because I don't want to go back out there Sunday. And sure enough, if it was something that was serious, yeah, I don't normally like to do this, but it's got to be done. Or Nate, this Sunday, I don't feel like getting up. I bet.
And I like that principle of built-in rest because I don't have a weekly day where I build in rest. But I try to do it periodically. Like if I have several weeks of back-to-back, it's like there's a weekend where I'm going to tell people absolutely no. Unless it has to be done for built out of necessity. I'm not doing it because I'm electing to do it. I'm done. I need a break. And I try to make those regular enough, but I can feel myself trending towards too much work, not enough rest, and I'll find a time before my body crashes. Because if you don't pick a time to rest, your body's going to tell you when it's time to rest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I felt that before. I was working heavy overtime one time, and it was basically all you can eat buffet of how much overtime do you want. And I had been doing it for about 2 weeks, coming in at 6 in the morning and leaving at like 11 at night. And my supervisor came to me and was like, Nate, she was like, I don't want you to end up getting sick. She was like, you don't have to do this. And I kind of don't want you to do it. I want you to hold off a little bit because I feel like you're gonna get sick. And I was like, I love this extra money. I'm good. And she was like, all right. Man, a couple days later, I sure enough ended up getting sick. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this old bitch knew something. Like she knew something that I didn't. Cause I was like, nah, I'm good. Nah, my little 25-year-old body was not good.
Yeah.
It was like, bruh, I am not used to what you're putting me through. Some you know how I told you about I saw something on the internet that was like every 5 years you're not gonna like the self you were before. So like if you look at yourself 5 years ago, you're gonna be like, damn, I'm so glad I've evolved into the person I am because that dude 5 years ago, I don't fuck with him. Or like if you have, I don't know if you've ever had Facebook memories or anything that brings up old shit and you're like, why did I post this? Like you remember me talking about that?
110%. Yeah.
All right. So um something something I don't like about myself from 5 years ago is you were talking about balance. And I used to preach balance, but actually I like myself from 5 years ago. Maybe it's I don't like myself now. I feel like I had the balance so I could talk to people about balance. But now I feel like my balance is fucking, if it's a seesaw, it's leaning to at least one side. It's not fucking balancing itself anymore. So when it comes to like hanging out with people and being antisocial, like I used to have that perfect balance. I felt like I satisfy this person, I satisfy this person, I want to hang out with this person, but I want to spend this time to myself. But now it's more like I want to spend this time to myself. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. And I say no a whole lot more, like how you were talking about when your body catches up to everything you're doing. It's like, bro, we gotta shut down. You start saying no more often. Well, my no is always fucking often. So it's like, hey, you want to go to a bar? Nah, not really. Hey, you want to go bowling? I mean, I kind of do, but nah, not really. Hey, you want to come to my birthday party? I mean, we're fucking like 29. Why are we still celebrating birthday parties? Nah, not really. And there's no balance. And there's something else that's lacking balance. So it's like, I don't know why I got on that rant, but that's something in my current life that I'm trying to work out and figure out. Why did I used to tell people about balance and I had it, but now I've lost it? Why have I lost it?
I just got a picture of two types of balance. One balance in the short term, one balance across the span of your entire life. And they're both going to be seesaws because you said that and made a nice representation. So when you look at balance in the short term, you have um, a short seesaw that you're putting rocks on, so a heavier weight, something that's going to move it quicker, and it doesn't have as far to go before it's at its extreme. And that's your day to day, your week to week, month to month, and maybe the span of a year. Because everything is seasonal. Like I'm hanging out with my friends a lot in spring and summer. I'm going to retreat a little bit fall and winter. I hang out with my friends a lot Friday through Sunday. Monday through Thursday, I'm going to make sure I can function and do my job because we get a little bit reckless. And that's short term. And that's what you're talking about right now. You don't feel the balance right now. But if you think about how social and out there you were for probably a good decade of your adult life or close to it, now you're entering a phase where you're a little bit more reclusive. So right now it feels like you're out of balance because your 1 to 2 years is being juxtaposed against 8 years. But 6 years from now, you're going to say, man, those 8 years of being reckless were so much fun, but I'm glad I took 8 years to myself to heal from it. And you're going to see that you have a longer seesaw that you're putting grains of sand on, and it doesn't move the needle quite as much. Because I've had 35 years of experience. Whatever I do next year, if it's completely different from everything I've done, it's going to feel a little bit tense because it's new. But 20 years from now, if I continue down that path, it's going to be like, oh, well, I had 35 years of this, and now I've had 20 years of this. And it's going to feel more leveled out when you look at the span of your life.
And you know, that makes perfect sense because like even looking back at my 20s, I lived them really fast. I was just being wild and fucking random bitches and fucking bitches that I cared about and fucking queens that I cared about and being in relationships, but not a lot. I look back on those wild times, like some of them were really fucking stupid, like really stupid. But the fact that when I made it out of them, I can look back on it already and say I don't miss them, but damn, that was fucking fun. Like that was so fun. And even though I don't live that same lifestyle, that shit was so fun. And I understand why people want to live the fast lifestyle, but at some point that shit has to end, or you're gonna end up burnt out like fucking Ozzy Osbourne or some shit, you know. But I feel like everyone, not everyone, but I feel like if you've lived that lifestyle, I feel like you can look back on it and you've made it out of it. I feel like you can look back on it and be like, that shit was pretty fucking gnarly. That shit was fun as fuck. And I'm glad I made it out because there's plenty of people that don't have a voice to speak on it because they didn't make it out. And there's plenty of people that are locked up for either a petty crime or something they're supposed to be locked up for that long, that they're never going to be able to see the outside world. And if they do, it's going to be so completely changed that they're going to be so far removed from it that it's not going to be the same anyway. So there's plenty of people locked up or dead that don't get to speak about it, and there's still people that are living that fast ass lifestyle. It's like that's cool, but I'm glad at my age I'm able to be like, that shit was fun as fuck. That shit was like, I got so many stories I could like. If I just want to come out with a mini documentary, I fucking could. You know
Mini doc.
who's gonna care about it? Where's it gonna reach to? Who fucking knows? But I could. But yeah, it was fun while it lasted. But I like how you put it because now it's like my soul is like, bruh, finally, finally we get to chill out, bruh. You were giving your soul to all these people and all this fun. Finally, we get to have a chill time. Stop talking about balance, man. We trying to chill now.
Yeah. And I don't know why I'm saying this, and maybe you can find a parallel and it ties in. But if you take a slow motion camera and you hold a slinky from one end and you drop it, the top falls and it hovers at the same altitude until the top hits the bottom.
The only parallel I can find to it is that we had a conversation with Challenger Deep, and we were well, you were talking about we had slinkies in the house, but no stairs.
Dude, Slinky's
What's
with
the
no
point of
stairs is
this
a
slinky?
motherfucker. That's like
I,
when mom, God rest her soul, love you, mom, when she would buy Cheerios and no bananas. It's like, I'm a child. I want something sweet. Cheerios are amazing, but only with bananas. A
that's
Slinky
so.
with no stairs is Cheerios without bananas.
Do you still eat Cheerios with bananas? Because I did up until my early 20s, and I was like, this shit's played out.
No, I
I
love
can
it.
eat Cheerios without bananas.
No, I love it. I will not eat Cheerios by themselves.
Dude, I can't do it anymore. I don't know what it is. Like, I used to love that shit. And in my early 20s, I did it a couple times. It's like, nah, this don't hit like it used to.
And I don't remember what cereal it was because y'all, when I eat cereal, I go straight fucking kid. It's Lucky Charms. It's Tricks. I like Apple Jacks. I
Hey,
am a
shout out to the
child. I am
Applejack.
not eating fucking Raisin Bran. I don't need to be regular. I'll take some Metamucil if I need to take a shit. I'm eating kid cereal that's gonna spike my blood sugar and piss
Or
my doctor off.
or you would do what's those things called? A douche? No. It's a douche. No. Of infinite.
Infant.
Enema. An enema.
Joey Diaz Jr. motherfuckers.
Hey, stay black, motherfucker.
And you know it's funny, like I don't remember where why I said that the first time I said it, but then you pointed out that he used to say it on the church, and that's probably where I first heard it.
Honestly, I didn't know that. I I was watching the church no, I think I typed in the YouTube "Stay Black" because I almost wanted to make sure that no one else was saying "Stay Black, don't be white." So I did that. It didn't pop up or anything, but then when I just put in "Stay Black," Joey Diaz popped up, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" But ours is different, and even if it did derive from them, bitch, there's nothing new under the sun. Stop tripping. People just
Hey, man.
fucking remix things. Where Elon Tusk is Nikolai Tesla. He stole from Thomas Jefferson or whoever he stole from. Nikolai Tesla just got the fucking credit for it. We're just remixing it. It's our thing. We
And
make
here's the
white people
thing:
uncomfortable.
Joey started the church, and he knows that the church is one body.
No, you gotta have mind, spirit, soul, the Holy Trinity.
And here,
Jesus, the head, and the the Holy Ghost.
and
The
here's how
head,
high
the
I got
body,
one
the
night.
feet. Huh?
Here's how in class I got one night. I went on that rant about kid cereals because I wanted you to know, like, when I eat cereal, how sweet it is. It's sugary. And I went to the kitchen, and we were out of milk. I was like, man, this sucks. I've already poured the bowl.
That's
Like,
the worst.
I'm not gonna be like Craig and put some water on that shit. I was like, but what we do have is heavy whipping cream. I was like,
Oh, I would have
heavy
done that.
whipping cream is basically thick milk.
I would have done that.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of whipping cream in this cup, fill it up with water until it looks thin. It never looked thin. I'm going to whisk it until it's all one body. It never was one body. It fucking stayed separated.
Oh man,
And I poured in the milk or that shit into the cereal, and I was committed to that bowl. I was like, I'm eating this bowl.
it wasn't
But
good, was
three or
it?
four bites in, man, my mouth tasted like I was chewing a stick of butter with a lot of sugar on it.
It
It was
sounds so
disgusting.
good.
It
It
was so
sounds
nasty.
the idea sounded so good, and when you got to it, you're like, I can, I can muscle through this. Nope.
Yeah, earlier you were talking about feeling smart. Like, when I came up with the idea, I was like, I don't need milk. I got this. But, bro, like, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this because I don't know what you would mix water with that it would do this other than heavy whipping cream. But, like, I poured a small amount of whipping cream in the bottom of the cup, and it was really thick, right? Like, it was a very viscous, white-looking substance. I start pouring water in it, and it never looked like it got thinner. It was that thick all the way to the top of the cup. It was so nasty. And
Oh
I
my
ate 3 or 4
god.
bites. After the
He
first
said,
bite, I'm
"Nah."
like, this is rough.
I muscle through it.
I was like, I'm
It was
finishing this fucking bowl. I was like, I want this bowl of cereal.
after that third or fourth bite. You said, "Nah, it was a good idea. Bad execution."
Bad execution. Tasted like
Very horrible.
buttery sugar.
I should have thought this through.
Yeah.
But no, what you should have thought through, and I don't know why we do this as human beings. You should have looked in the fridge before you pour the bowl of cereal. But as soon as that cereal hits the bowl and you got a big old bowl, you open the fridge and there's no milk. Why didn't you just look in the fridge first?
And here's the thing.
That would have.
I didn't think about this until you just said it. You should have looked in the fridge first. And there was an internet debate a few years ago that I saw was, and this one pops up more often. Are you a sock, shoe, or are you a sock, shoe person?
Bruh, everyone should be sock, shoe, shoe. Why
You
would you
should
put
be.
on the sock and the shoe and then the sock and the shoe? You're tripping.
Here's the thing. Around that same time that I first saw that one, I saw, do you pour your cereal and then your milk, or your milk and then your cereal? And I'm like, I was like, whoever the fuck does milk first needs some serious re-education on how to eat a bowl of cereal.
But
because the order of execution should be cereal then milk. That way, that shit, it mixes the best that way.
But
But if you were a milk cereal person, you would never have that predicament. Because even if you were so out of it and so out of touch with the order of your household that you had got your cereal to milk ratio off and you had negative balance in your bank account and you had a gallon of milk and no cereal, you could at least fucking drink the milk out of the bowl.
exactly, that would be so much better.
But otherwise,
There's
you
so
have to eat dry cereal or resort to some nasty bullshit.
but that's so much. That would be so much smarter to pour the milk and then the cereal is gonna taste better if you pour the cereal and then the milk. But if you pour the milk first, you're never gonna be fucked.
Never be fucked. I mean, your entire cereal eating experience will be subpar because there's no way it tastes the same.
Let me ask you this.
Ingredient mixing order is very important to cooking.
Let me ask you this. This doesn't have to do with cooking, but it has to do with order. It has to do with the order. What do you do first? Do you put your toothpaste on your toothbrush and then water, or do you do water and then toothpaste?
I've actually entered a phase of my life where I don't do water before the brush.
I've never done water before the brush. I always do like, toothpaste and then water and then brush.
No, I toothpaste on the brush straight to mouth.
Wait, you don't put water on that at all?
I quit.
So you just have that gritty ass toothpaste going across it?
I do.
But okay, bro, your mouth would get, you talking about cotton mouth. I got cotton mouth thinking about it.
It does.
And then you really got to wash your mouth out because like
I don't.
So you just I'm so confused. I got to pee so bad. I'm so confused.
No, I put toothpaste on the brush my teeth. I sing the ABCs at least twice in my head, not out loud. I'm not a child.
Yeah, go look at your cupboard and look at your cereal choices, see what they say. I'm not a child.
No, maybe I should start singing it out loud though, because I'm constantly talking about entering into that inner child. Maybe I should sing the ABCs out loud while I brush my teeth.
Can I tell you something real quick?
There. Yeah.
Right. Wait, this is here. And then you're gonna go right back into it. Don't even.
I have no idea what the fuck I was talking about.
I got you back. Don't even entertain what I'm about to say. But I sing my ABCs every time I wash my hands. That's one of my things. But you brush your teeth with no water.
Oh yeah. So
I'm about to pee and I'm gonna mute my microphone. So just keep talking. It's gonna be a long one. I promise you.
I think you should drink it. While you went and peed off camera a little while ago, I was talking about drinking piss. And I don't remember if I said this, but I actually did drink my pee on one episode. I told you about this, and you gave me that same look. And you're like, why the fuck would you do that? I'm like, it says they used to do it in the Vedas for spiritual cleansing, so I figured I'd try it out. It's really not that bad. For somebody that doesn't like pickles, it tastes like pickle juice, and I didn't think it was that bad. I've only done it once, so I don't know if I'll do it again. And I don't know why I'm still talking about it. But anyways, yes, growing up, I was in both camps. I would wet my toothbrush before I put my toothpaste on, and I think I was in that camp for the shortest amount of time because one flaw with it is with a wet toothbrush and a moist-ish toothpaste, it wants to slide off the brush, and too often I would drop it onto the top of the sink. And it's like, I keep having to redo this, so I don't want to do that. So I put toothpaste on a dry brush so it would adhere to it, and then wet it. That way, when I put it in my mouth, I had a good, nice, moist mouth during the cleansing process. For some reason, without any idea why or when, I quit doing that. So I don't do that anymore. And for a while, I was still rinsing my mouth out because I didn't like that gritty taste or the gritty texture in my mouth when I would just spit and not rinse because I didn't have a wet brush. And this is going to sound really weird, but you know me, so it's going to make sense to at least you. I saw a YouTube short, and there was a dentist on there, and he said you shouldn't rinse your mouth after you brush your teeth because you're not getting the maximum benefit of the toothpaste. It should sit on there for a while.
That's weird.
And it should rinse down with your saliva.
That sounds like something Dr. Drew would say. I don't trust it.
And when I heard it, I was like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I would never do that. And like 3 days later, I was doing it. and I haven't rinsed my mouth but like twice since I saw that YouTube short.
That's so weird. That's like the folks saying putting hand sanitizer on, you're supposed to rub it all the way in. That sounds like that, but much worse. I'm cool with it. I'm rinse my shit out and I'm gonna I'm gonna get all diamonds. I just want diamonds everywhere. And I want 3 dermals. But only way I'm gonna get diamonds everywhere is if I get money. And the only way I'm gonna get money is by hustling. And the only way I'm gonna hustle is if you keep me in check. So Off the Beaten Path podcast, your new favorite podcast. We're gonna have fun, discover new artists, talk to artists that we've been fucking with for a minute, and give them a platform and give their fans a place to see them in a new light, and they make money so I can get a whole diamond grill that's permanent. I've seen a lot of times where rappers get asked, when you made your first advance or first big amount of money, what was the first thing that you bought? And they always say like a chain or something. Well, if I ever get asked that question, I'm gonna go.
What's
There's
that
more.
cereal? What's that cereal box that just says CK?
There's more from. No, that's not a cereal box.
Oh, what is that? Fuck, that's delicious. What is that?
Action Bronson. It's
Oh, okay.
cookbook.
Oh, nice, nice. Is that his like healthy eating cookbook? Did he?
This is when he was still fat.
Oh, okay, that's before he changed his lifestyle.
Yeah, there's no healthy eating in there.
Gotcha.
Everything I've cooked in there, which has only been like 2 things. I cooked the bacon, and I cooked one the butcher sandwich. Oh my god, that was so amazing. It was fucking I don't remember what kind of steak I used or what it called for, but I used the steak that it called for and cooked it to the recipe that it called for because it called for like fucking bro, I'm so stoned. It called for like garlic and basil and other shit to be cooked with the steak. I think it was honestly just a ribeye I cooked it with. And I cooked it according to anyways, I cooked it and fucking so all right,
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being rude as shit, but
no,
I can't stop laughing at you.
no, I'm trying to tell this story, and the story is so fucked up. But basically, so it was like Concord's grape jelly, and I don't know how to say it, but some kind of red sauce that was kind of spicy, like a Cabrillion or some shit. It's Latino, but you rub that on one side, rub the Concord grape jelly on the other side, and put the steak down. Grade some not Parmesan, it's some fancy cheese. I only bought it once, but did that over it, fucking grated it, and um I put jalapenos in it. It didn't call for jalapenos, but I was like, this has to be a little bit spicy because it has a spicy sauce on one side of the bread and the Concord grape jelly on the other side. So it's like sweet and spicy. And I was like, I want to add a little more spice. And then pour olive oil all over the bread and all over the steak and fucking close that. The butcher sandwich, bro. That's the other thing I made. The other thing I made besides that was bacon, and that's the only time I bought a slab of bacon that wasn't already sliced. So I sliced it kind of thick to make it more of a sausage instead of a bacon. Oh man, my mouth just watered, and I got cotton mouth, and it just watered. Oh, it was so good. Oh, I was shitting. That's a lot of grease, but it was so good. I ain't never had thick bacon before.
So you asked me the other day What kind of music do I listen to? Because we
That was
host the
like three
music.
weeks ago, and
We host.
but I thought about it today. You brought up two things that I've thought about today. I don't remember what the first one was. That was like 30 minutes ago, but I literally thought about me being like, bro, what the fuck do you listen to? I almost posted on Instagram, but I was too busy.
And I just had a revelation that I started going down that path. I think on recording, and then we got sidetracked because I talked about what I'm about to mention. So I don't want to get sidetracked this time. So the first thing I listen to is tutorial videos on YouTube. I don't know why, but I get off on learning new things. Whether or not I'll ever use them, it might be song tutorials I never want to learn. It
We
might be
talked about
things
that.
around the house that I will never want to build. And sometimes I don't just watch things I don't want to do. But I'm just saying I watch so many things that I do want to do that I run out of things that it's like, okay, I need to know this in the near future, or I need to know this right the fuck now because I'm working on my car or I'm fixing something in my house I've never encountered. I'm learning it on the spot for this purpose. But I run out of those types of things. So I'll literally go look at something that's related to it that I might have zero interest in, but the learning of it is interesting to me. Um, and I kind of view it as like documentaries. It's like if DIY had a documentary, it would be YouTube tutorials. All right, that out of the way. I realize that I don't really follow many artists, but I find a lot of artists because I follow two things. I follow genres and I follow YouTube channels that syndicate for those genres.
Why you gotta
So
use fancy words and shit? Why do you have to use syndicate right there?
I don't know, bro. I'm in the zone and I'm just vibing, man.
Why
Like,
couldn't you just say I find different artists because I search what feeds my soul? Like you could have still been deep without saying syndicate. I don't know what the fuck that means. Like me do it during like when we have guests on, I'm like, damn, I'm glad he's using those words because there's no way I can use them. When you use them on day drink, I'm like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it when you use it normally, but for some reason it makes them happy, and I'm like, hell yeah. All right, so you don't necessarily have like specific artists that you gravitate towards, but
yeah, like once I find them, I do. But like an artist that we're hopefully gonna have on soon, I didn't find them because I've been following them on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube for years. I found them because I follow channels, and what I mean by that, uh, two genres or three genres I'm into, and they're all kind of similar. Is stoner rock, so I love stoner rock, whether it be like 60s or 70s, like actual rock from that time that just happens to have a stoner rock sound, or it's like psychedelic stoner rock from today. I also like post rock and post metal kind of interchangeably. I don't like it to be too heavy, but I don't like for it to be like alternative pop.
like
And
kind
then
of like the under oath sound.
no, 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 not Under Oath.
Me without you.
No, no, no. Typically no vocals. If it is vocals, it's more for aesthetic and not for lyrical content. There's not like song structure to the vocals.
Man, I'm sorry to cut you off again, but I go for aesthetic when it comes to rock, when it comes to like post rock or post metal, I always go for the whiny vocals that tell a good story that most people hate on and say it's corny. But I'm a sucker for a whiny ass voice that's screaming and telling a good story.
Yeah, like when I think of post rock, and there might be different subcategories of post rock that I'm not aware of, but when I think of post rock, it's instrumental.
Yeah, I'm thinking of post metal or post hardcore.
Yeah,
Post hardcore is what I'm thinking about.
yeah, post hardcore, and I would agree with everything you just said. That description, but post rock is generally like that band that sent you Robot God. They wouldn't be post rock necessarily, but imagine a more rock version of that with
What
more
about Challenger Deep?
probably more ambient still. Like
Well, they're more like, I feel like, I don't know if you've listened to their new EP, but
I haven't yet. I want
it
to.
has a lot of like I wouldn't say a lot, but it definitely has a lot of like prog rock, math rock genre feel to it. Like technical.
I don't know if you listen to other bands that I do, but one that's probably most crossover might be like Explosions in the Sky.
No clue.
No clue.
All right,
Anyways,
but anyways, yeah,
I can send you some stuff. But
yeah.
like we just we spiraled. Yeah. That was like being on a fucking merry-go-round. Remember a merry-go-round back in the day?
Yeah.
Like hanging off, like you know how you like would hook your legs to the handles and you
Bro,
like,
you
hang
go
off,
so fast.
go so fast. But if somebody steps into your like circumference, like you pop your shoulder, or your head with their knee.
Yeah.
That shit hurt. I feel
Yeah.
like we were about to do that, but we stepped out. Stepped out of the vortex. But anyways, yeah. So like, there's this band that I love to listen to when I read books. Their music's not meditative. Most of it is heavier than their counterparts. But God is an astronaut. Love listening to them when I read. So for a while, like they were the only post rock I'd ever listened to. And then eventually, I'd be like, oh, I like these albums, but I've listened to them all 4 or 5 times. Let's see what YouTube recommends based on me listening to this. So there are a couple other bands I would listen to, and not enough to remember their names or their album names. But then, for some reason, I can find full albums of these bands very easily. Type in God is an Astronaut full album, whichever album I want. I click on a single video. I get a pre-roll ad, 45 minutes of music, post-roll ad. Nice. Loved it. Then when YouTube got crafty and they were like, hey, if you want to listen to this album, hit play all, and each song is on an individual track within that playlist. So you get pre-roll, post-roll ad for every single song. I'm like, fuck.
Down.
So I stopped listening to full albums for a while and didn't even really listen to music for a while because I didn't like the experience. And I grew up on free music, so I didn't want to pay for a service that used to be free without ads just so I can get rid of ads.
Especially when what you're paying isn't going to the artists that you're supporting.
Exactly. It's just supplementing their ad revenue. So I don't have YouTube Premium or Google Play or anything or Spotify Premium for those reasons. I just suffered through the ads. But then I started finding these channels that would have the whole album start to finish with pre-roll, post-roll ad. And I'm like, ooh, I get the full listening experience again. And then instead of waiting for YouTube to recommend, I'll just go to this channel and be like, oh, well, they have this album start to finish. What other bands do they promote on this album? Or on this channel, sorry. On this channel, what other bands do they promote? And I find some really cool bands. So now I don't follow like just a genre, and I don't really follow specific bands, but I will find a channel that has 300 or 400 videos. Probably a third of those are full albums, and I'll just go and fucking binge their full albums. I'll listen to a song or two per album. If I don't like it, I'll skip it. That's not one I'm going to follow. I'll go to the next one. I'll vibe out, whether it's reading a book, just laying around, maybe doing some yard work or housework. And then some, they're so good, it's like, I want to follow this band for a long time and listen to everything they put out. But I do it through following channels.
This is different, but relevant in a different way. The way I found the family recipe was through 90.5 WUOG, which is Athens College radio station. So it's UGA's radio station. Also, what correlates and is more relevant and more syndicate and more astronomical and introversal and the introspect of the metaverse is I actually found Kitty that way as well. I the first song I heard from her was Disconnect off of Rose Gold, and it was from the prolific university
Fuck you.
standards of UGA. The diabolical atrocities that were performed during that show gravitated me towards her presence.
I love how you using a random stringing of words that you feel like are big that mean nothing to the context of what you're trying to say, but I still know what you're talking about.
Oh man.
Because
But
I'm just
yeah.
selectively deleting those words that I know don't belong, and like the message is still very clear.
Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, I found the family recipe from 90.5 WOG Athens UGA's radio station, and I also found Kitty that way. And I'm glad that they both blessed us with their presence and came on and were uh very good people to vibe with.
And what I just said in a very in the zone way, and what you said very concisely, is I say I follow channels instead of genres or bands. Basically, what I'm doing is following a genre-specific radio station.
Yeah.
So, like, if I was really into jazz, and I want to find like a new jazz artist or a jazz artist I had never heard, I'm gonna listen to jazz radio. If I'm really into rock, like back in the day, how I found a lot of artists was I hear a Korn song on 99X. I'm like, ooh, I like Korn. They're playing Korn. I might like this radio station. And then I find a lot more bands. Like when they went and announced who the band was after the song, I'm like, no, I've never heard
Yeah.
that. I would have loved to know who that is. Then I
Yeah.
have to listen to this radio station so I can wait till I hear them announce that song. So in the
I
same way, I'm listening to or following YouTube channels for the same reason.
well, time for weird time with Nate.
Oh Lord, Nate is
So
self-proclaimed weird, and I also agree with that. But when a weird person announces that they're about to get weird, I always sit down and I'm like, I want to see what happens next.
so I listen to the college radio station, and we all know my CD player doesn't really like working in the summertime when it's hot. So that's the main time I listen to it. But the college radio station, they play different music. So they have different DJs. So I think on like Tuesdays before from 2 to 3, it's Odd Girl Out. And it's this radio DJ from UGA. And she only plays songs with the head person or the vocalist being a female. So it's all female driven bands. And you might have another DJ that's called Gamer DJ or some shit, and he only plays fucking video game music. But anytime they're playing music, because if you listen to the radio station, it's automated. It's just playing the same songs over and over. But when the DJ's on there, you get shit from Russia. You just get weird shit. So I always look it up. That's one more, time. That's how I found Kitty, and that's how I found Family Recipe. But the weird thing is every time a DJ is playing the song, I put up my phone and I say, okay, Google, what song is this? Google tells me the song, I screenshot it. I only listen on Mondays. So the rest of my week, it can be filled with music, it can be filled with podcasts, but on Mondays, I strictly put that to my screenshots. What did I screenshot from this radio station? Look, I said, okay, Google. And look, she's talking. she thought I was talking to her. Nah, baby, it's all good. So look, go to screenshots. I'm gonna go to screenshots. How many screenshots do you think I have in my phone?
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this probably since about 2017 or 2018 when I first found the radio station.
Oh wow! With 3 to 4 years, I would say 2,800.
Not too bad, 3,792.
Wow,
But I bet you
I was gonna say like 3,000, but I was like, no, it's sub 3.
3,700, and I bet you that 2,800 of those are screenshots from that radio station. Most of them I'm never gonna get to. Never ever gonna get to. I delete them as I listen to them, and I either add them to my special list, my great list, or I don't add them at all. If I think they're special, kitty. I was like, as soon as I heard Rose Gold, you're going to my special list. I want to randomly put this on during the weekend, and you pop up, and me be happy. So you're going to my special list. If it's like down, I could see listening to this, but I wouldn't turn it on. I'm putting on my great list, and maybe if I'm listening to my great list, it comes on, or you don't get added at all. But on Mondays, I'm listening to those fucking screenshots that I got from the basically what it was before it Shazam. So I Shazam a song, I screenshot it, and then I don't play the whole song. I play the whole album that song is on. So I listen to that whole album Monday. So I listen to 6 or 7 albums that it might honestly, that what is an Indian? You remember I sent it to you? What is an Indian? And it's an Indian talking about what an Indian is to the outside people, but what an Indian is to him.
Oh, it's been so long I can't remember it for how it made me feel.
And then you even asked me, it was on Indigenous Day. You're like, hey man, can you send me that song that you sent me a
Oh,
year or
yep,
so?
yep.
What is an Indian? And it's an Indian's, the reason I found that album is because they play that fucking song on that radio station like close to Thanksgiving. And it's because I fucking Shazammed it, and that was one of the ones I ended up getting to listen to. And I was like, bro, this album is amazing. But this song, because the whole album, it takes you through like fucking rituals that they would do. Like if they were walking somewhere, but they were walking in the area that they didn't understand, they would make certain noises and certain fucking songs so that other people know, hey, we're coming, but we don't mean any harm. And because we're singing this song, you're gonna know that we don't mean any harm, but just so that you know we're coming through. And it's like, dude, that album's so amazing. And that's all thanks to 90.5 WUOD, Athens radio station.
Oh man. And I'm sure this is an idea
Oh
that's
my god, bro, you gotta. It's time to get off here.
yeah, I gotta go to bed soon.
Yeah, what
But
were you saying?
I'm sure this is already an idea that's being discussed and has been discussed for some time. And I don't think I've heard anyone say it or discuss it. But it just occurred to me when you said that you had 3,700 screenshots. Now that we have a storage space that is indefinitely infinite, because it has to be finite at some point. Like we have to get to the end of the servers. There has to be a cap on the memory. Like I don't understand how the internet and the cloud can be completely unlimited. There has to be a limit because we're using man-made technologies, and that's how my brain works. But as of now, we haven't hit that cap.
Another big-ism is anything man-made is subject to failure.
Subject to motherfucking failure.
Keep going.
Heard that one so many times. When someone's like, man, I can't believe it broke. I used to say it out loud. I used to say anything man-made is subject to failure. They would inevitably say, what? I would repeat it slower so they got it. And they just look at me like, that didn't help the fucking situation.
But it makes sense.
And like, I wasn't trying to
about
help,
it.
But you're sitting here wondering why it broke.
And I'm letting you know.
I'm letting you know why it broke. It's man-made.
Oh,
so
man.
The internet at one point or at some point can break, and it'd be devastating because we're so dependent on those resources. But as of right now, we don't know that there's a cap on data or storage. So in your home, being a hoarder type, whether it's serious or whether it's just a little bit excessive in a mild way that's not disrupting your life or your relationships, in your home, you literally have a finite space. Eventually, you're going to run out.
Yeah.
And depending on your mental health level and what may or may not cause hoarding, everybody's going to have a threshold at some point of this is too much. I need to straighten up. This is disruptive. I can't find the things I want because there's things that I don't even need in the space. But online, there's no boundaries. Like, I probably have 20 or 30 screenshots. You have over 3,000.
But you know what's crazy about it? To go on that exact point is when it comes to hoarding in real life. So you got an A&M that has newspapers lined everywhere, and then when it comes to hoarding on your phone, I have 3,700 screenshots on my phone. But when my phone says storage is out of space, I don't just go throwing away shit. I'm like, what do I use the least, and what is taking up the most space, and what can I delete and not miss it that much? And you're doing the same thing in your house. All right, what newspaper, what fucking cereal box am I collecting? What this, what that, what shoes, what can I throw away so I can keep putting more things in? You're not fucking cleaning your shit out and looking at your life and it's like, damn, I need to fucking throw all this shit away. No, you're looking at what you can throw away, not so you can throw it away and make more room, but so you can throw it away and replace it with other shit that you don't really need.
Yep. I've heard this said twice. One was a youth pastor that we had, and the second one was a online marketing teacher that I listened to and followed for a while. The youth pastor said, if you want to get rid of a bad habit, don't just get rid of the bad habit. Replace it with a good habit.
Mm.
And the marketing teacher used to say, nature hates a vacuum. If something belongs in that space, something will be in that space. So like how you were saying, you throw something away, not to like better your space and your environment, but you throw it away so you can put something else there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to bring in something else, but you know you don't have room for it, so you have to make room. We even say that, making room. You're not getting rid of something, you're putting something new there.
Exactly.
And it might
You're
even end
just
up being
replacing it.
bigger. Might even end up being bigger,
Yeah,
which is
100%.
interesting. Because
But
now you're
what
using
if
more space, but you only the delta's the same because you got rid of an item to bring an item.
what if that thing that was bigger, what if that thing that actually took up more space, actually instead of making it more cluttered, it made it more beautiful? Like what if you fucking took those fucking old chessboards that you were saving up because you're a chess historian and you fucking study the game. You took some of those out and you actually put up your Christmas tree for the first time in 6 years. You know, you made it more beautiful. You made it more homey. Like it's okay to replace shit with other shit. You know, it's okay to replace an addiction with another addiction. But is it a healthy addiction like Leo fucking going from alcohol to guitar? Or is it an unhealthy addiction where you go from fucking a guitar to alcohol? You know, like which one is it? So I feel like it's okay to fucking replace it and make it beautiful. But are you replacing it with good shit or are you replacing it with shit that is just as detrimental? Are you just stacking on and making it ugly?
I like that.
What do
Really
these
nice.
bitches need to do?
These motherfuckers need to stay black so they
He
can.
he said motherfuckers, and I'ma stay with it. So these motherfuckers cannot be whack. Don't be whack. Like just please don't do it.
Don't do it.
It makes no sense. Stay black. It's that easy.